Professor Keth Iron surveyed his advanced quantum mechanics class at the prestigious Galactic University on Centauri Prime. The lecture hall buzzed with the excited chatter of the galaxy's brightest minds: crystalline Galaxians whose thoughts moved at light speed, cybernetic Nexari with computational implants, and gaseous Etherians whose consciousness existed across multiple dimensions. In the back corner sat the anomaly, Rebecca Martinez, the first human ever accepted into the university's doctoral program. She appeared unremarkable by galactic standards. No enhanced neural architecture, no quantum processing organs, just organic neural tissue encased in fragile bone. Her species had only achieved faster-than-light travel 3 decades ago. "Primitive," whispered ZYX Tau, a Galaxian whose crystalline form pulsed with condescending light patterns. "I heard humans still use linear thinking processes." The other students rippled with amusement. Quindor, a Nexari with 13 processing cores in his skull, turned to stare at Rebecca. How did such a limited species even qualify for admission? Their average intelligence quotient is barely 100 on the standard scale. Rebecca kept her eyes fixed on her simple paper notebook, an archaic tool that had drawn Snickers since orientation. While her classmates manipulated holographic equations with thought interfaces and quantum calculators, she scribbled with an actual graphite pencil. Professor Keth Iron began the day's challenge. Today, we'll explore the Valdoran paradox, the theoretical framework that has stumped our greatest minds for centuries. The problem involves calculating dimensional fold equations while accounting for temporal flux in 11-dimensional space. The classroom erupted into activity. Galaxian students connected their consciousness to the university's quantum computers. Nexari activated their neural enhancement suites. Etherian thought clouds expanded into complex mathematical matrices that filled half the room. Rebecca simply stared at her blank notebook. "Perhaps our human friend needs remedial mathematics first," ZYX Tau announced loudly, earning chuckles from nearby students. "I forgot their species only recently discovered calculus." After 2 hours of intense calculation, students began submitting their solutions. The results were impressive: equations spanning thousands of variables, elegant proofs that demonstrated the intellectual prowess of the galaxy's elite species. Professor Keth Iron reviewed each submission with growing frustration. "Close, but incorrect. This solution ignores temporal recursion. This one fails to account for dimensional bleed-through. None of these approaches address the core paradox." As the class period neared its end, Rebecca finally raised her hand. "Yes, Miss Martinez?" Professor Keth Iron asked. "I think there might be an error in the fundamental premise," Rebecca said quietly. "The Valdoran paradox assumes that dimensional folds operate under consistent temporal flow. But what if time itself is the variable we're missing?" The classroom fell silent. Advanced species that had spent millennia studying quantum mechanics stared at the human, who was suggesting their basic assumptions were wrong. "Elaborate?" Professor Keth Iron demanded. Rebecca stood and walked to the holographic display. With simple gestures, she began rewriting the foundational equations that had defined quantum dimensional theory for 3 centuries. "If we treat time not as a constant but as a dependent variable that changes based on dimensional density," she explained, her pencil marks transforming into elegant mathematical proofs, "the paradox resolves itself." Her solution was breathtakingly simple. Where other students had created 1,000-line equations, Rebecca's approach required only 17 variables. The mathematics was so clean, so intuitive, that even the most advanced artificial intelligences in the room immediately recognized its correctness. "Impossible," breathed ZYX Tau. "Our best quantum theorists have worked on this for centuries." Rebecca shrugged. "Sometimes being simple helps. When you don't have enhanced processing power, you have to think differently. Humans learn to solve complex problems by finding elegant shortcuts. Professor Keth Iron studied the solution with growing amazement. Not only was it correct, but Rebecca's approach opened entirely new fields of theoretical physics. Her insight would revolutionize dimensional science across the galaxy. "Miss Martinez," he said slowly, "your solution suggests an intelligence quotient of approximately 300 on our standard scale. How is this possible for a human?" Rebecca smiled gently. "Professor, your scale assumes intelligence requires advanced computational hardware. But humans developed something different during our evolution: pattern recognition, creative intuition, and the ability to see solutions that pure processing power might miss." The classroom remained stunned into silence as the quiet human girl packed her simple notebook and walked toward the exit. "Sometimes," she added at the door, "the most powerful computer in the galaxy